everybody, welcome back to another episode of Abbott and Pinata, live from Zany's Nashville, here in the green room once again. Did you know car repossession is on the rise? Do you know you have every right to stop a repo guy from taking your car? Consumers have broad rights to stop a car repossession from happening, and that is where the law firm at Sue the Collector can help you. If your car is about to be repossessed, or your car was repossessed and you verbally told them to stop and leave your car alone, were physically hurt or injured by the repo agent, or they took the wrong car altogether, you may have a case. The attorneys at Sue the Collector specialize in wrongful car repossession and can help you or your loved one. If you or your loved one were injured, lost valuables, or wrongfully had your car repossessed, call us now. 1-877-BAD-REPO, 1-877-BAD-REPO. Again, that is 1-877-BAD-REPO. Hello, Reno Collier.
Hey,
good to see you again, buddy.
Good to see you.
As
too,
always,
man.
joined by Reno. Love it. We're here in the green room. Were you just on the road this weekend?
I was up in Indiana, Lafayette, and doing these Bob and Tom Market shows.
Very nice.
So it was fun, man.
Yeah.
It was great.
And how long you been on Bob and Tom? I assume for
Consistently,
Yeah.
like every week since 2020, maybe
Oh wow, okay.
2019,
Yeah.
something like that. All during whatever.
COVID and all that
Yeah.
stuff, yeah. But before that, you had been on there quite a bit.
Yeah, I
too,
used to
right?
go on there a lot, and
Yeah.
then I started doing a segment, this Country Fried Takes thing, and it's stirred up. I did one on student loan forgiveness, and I
Yeah.
did one on some gender stuff, and it stirs it up a little bit.
Pushing boundaries.
I'm old, you
Yeah,
know what
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
and I'm irritated, and my career peaked, so I don't give a shit.
You
know
got
what I mean?
nothing to lose anymore,
Yeah, who
right? Yeah.
cares?
Yeah.
You know.
It is
It's
funny,
fun.
like to think of like the things you know when you're younger. It's like if you go back 20, all the things you put up with, were just like, oh, okay, yeah, you're just happy to be there, right?
Yeah.
And then there hits a certain point in everybody's career where you're like, nah, fuck that.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm not gonna. You say yes, I think your first 10 years, and then I think you say maybe
Yeah.
another 10, and then the back half, it's just the no's come a lot easier.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
It's nice to say no.
It feels good to say no.
Yeah.
And it also feels good. It's so weird the way the pendulum goes back and forth politically, culturally,
Sure.
everything. But I don't leave my spot.
Right.
You know what I mean? So things that used to seem like it might be drastic, it just nowadays, oh my God, you can't say that. And it's like,
Right.
I'm edgy. Like I've become the one that you have a problem with.
Right, yeah.
Like, are you not? But it's so. I think Bill Maher said this too. He was like, everybody left me. I didn't leave
Right,
my
right, yeah.
spot.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, and people just they attack and freak out so much. It's fun.
Yeah, it's funny because I think we were talking about this last time as we were leaving the club, that politicians of yesteryear now are more right or left
Oh, yeah.
compared to today's barometer of politics as opposed to back then.
Bill Clinton would have been a Republican right now.
Yeah.
JFK would have been a Republican right now.
Yeah.
But the extremes from the
Yeah.
far right and the far left, and now when people say they, like, well, they do this, and I don't know who they are.
Right.
But there's a feeling, I guess, that's they. That's like, oh, they're not going to stand for that. And the other thing is I've always been like this in school, in sport, and anything. If someone says don't do that.
Oh, you want to? Yeah.
Then it's like, now I have to do it.
You have to,
I
yeah.
have to.
That's why you love using the N-word.
Oh, constantly.
Always, yeah.
And not just in traffic.
In
You know what I mean? Like, all the time.
Well,
You know what I mean?
Today's episode, as Taylor suggested to us, or not suggested, told us, we're dealing with sketch. I guess you could say sketch improv, but sketch on the whole. Do you have much experience in the sketch space?
I did some Larry the Cable Guy Christmas specials
Right.
with like Keenan, the dude from Saturday Night Live,
Keenan
Thompson.
Thompson, that's right. Yeah.
And there
was
were a
funny.
bunch of people in it that were really good at it. I'm good at the punchline parts,
Yeah.
but I don't listen. I don't listen to the other people. Like, I'm a comic. I'm like, I didn't come here to listen to you
Right,
be
yeah.
funny. I'm here to bless people with my stuff.
It's all about me, baby.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sure my name's not on it, but that is just that's semantics.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
it's
right,
about
yeah.
me.
Because we're here, we're lone guns.
Yeah.
But then now all of a sudden you're part of a team, and it is weird that you do have to listen and keep
Yeah.
up with everybody. But so no SNL, Mad TV auditions or anything back in the
Mad
day.
TV audition,
Yeah.
made it to producers, never got further than that.
Right.
I'm not. I'm an enormous fan of it.
Right.
Like I pick Phil Hartman and Bill Hader and all the
Sure, yeah.
regulars, Chris Farley and
Yeah.
all that from SNL. Huge Monty Python fan. I love it.
Yeah.
But I didn't ever get drawn to it.
Enough to want to do it.
Yeah.
It is weird because like in LA, or especially I think LA more so than New York, there is that division of like you're either sketch improv or stand up. And I think sketch improv, my hat tips to those folks because they work just as hard, they grind as much as anybody else, but there's just not the inroads to really make a true career unless you're on SNL. It seems like there's one beacon of hope for you, and that's SNL. But stand-up, it's like there's 1,000 different variables in which to get your foot in the door. But other than that, it just like I don't know why you'd concentrate so much solely on just the sketch improv and not want to dabble in stand-up as opposed to the other way around. Because I guess the other way around for us is like, unless you really want to get on SNL, it's like, why even do it?
Why do it?
Yeah.
And plus, I like saying what I want to say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's acting is one thing.
Yeah.
But sketch feels different to me than acting. Like if you ever watch a stand-up comic in a sitcom, and if they were to make it, like the Seinfeld or George Lopez, or when you watch them get thrown from stand-up where it's only your voice into having to react and listen to other actors,
Right.
It's hard to watch.
Yeah, well, especially if you're a comic, you're used to garnering all the laughter on your own, right? When you're part of a team, somebody's got to be the straight man, right?
Right.
And even like you watch like a sketch like Jeopardy on SNL, well, Will Ferrell's playing Alex Trebek. He's one of the few rare cases where he's the straight man, and he is getting as many laughs as the wacky, outlandish answers he's receiving. So him reacting to those things, I think it's one of the few cases, because most of the time you're just there to set it up. You're there to set the table, take a step back, and that's a difficult role, but it also such a, it's the unsung hero kind of role of any sketch.
Yeah.
Martin and Lewis, right?
Yeah. Well, even in sitcoms and stuff, if the real successful, to me, and there's probably one before it, but to me, the Andy Griffith Show was the perfect example of you take one character that's central, and then you build this world around them. That's what Seinfeld did.
Sure.
That's what, The Simpsons is like that. Like there's a core center, and then there's all these other characters that come out of the hills and come out of the store and come out of the thing, but he always was the central one. And
well, even like I grew up watching Sanford and Son. I loved
that show,
and it was always on like my UHF channel 53 back in Pittsburgh. And you watch these syndicated shows, and I was just like, man, I hate when Lamont's on the show because Lamont's not funny and Lamont's boring, and Fred's there, but as a kid, you don't understand. Well, without Lamont, there's no Fred because he's setting the table, right? And then I had my own sitcom, Sullivan's Son. I'm behind the bar, all the episodes. And I'm sitting there and I'm just feeding lines, right? And I'm like, one day it just hit me. I was like, oh my God, I'm Lamont. Fucking Lamont. I'm there to set it up. But I was always fine with it, though, too. I know that some other performers in that situation go, no, give me lines. It's my show.
Right.
I want to be. But I was always like, look, I'll get my lines. It's fine. And I would get lines. I'd be like, Christine would crush this. Brian Doyle Murray would crush this. Give this to Roy Wood. He'll crush it. And they're like, it's such a great line. Why do you want to do that? I'm like, I'm Carson. I'm behind the desk.
Yeah.
The desk happens to be a bar here, so I'm totally comfortable. I'll have my lines. I'm always in the scenes. It's totally cool. But there is something to be said for like when you watch Happy Days and Richie's kind of boring. It's like, well, Richie's serving a purpose.
Right, you need
him
him
to
there.
set up Fonz and Potsy. And
I never thought about
everybody
that,
else,
like Lamont and why it's like Meathead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's like stupid.
He's there to be outraged by these things, But So today's sketch, I have no idea what we're going to watch. I've seen a handful. I've been to some SNL tapings. I appreciate the art form. I love watching it, like you said, when it's done right on TV. But here we go. Oh, Abbott and Costello. I don't know that this is a sketch necessarily, but duo comedy. If this is what I think it is, this may be okay. No. All right, here we go. Oh, we got to put our headsets on. Yep. Hold on.
This was the initial fat guy, skinny guy. It looks like a 10. You know what I mean? Like the David Spade, Chris Farley.
It's amazing. This is the stuff that would be on at 3:00 in the afternoon on a Sunday on TV when we were growing up. And Laurel and Hardy, Abbott and Costello, Three Stooges. I think there's generations of kids that grow up now that have no idea who these guys were or even are. And it's kind of a shame. But I was fortunate to grow up with these guys. All right, let's see this here.
Listen, I've got to get you a job. Yeah? I've got to use the telephone. Loan me 50 cents, Lou.
Abbott, I would like to loan you 50 cents, but I can't do it. All I got is 40 cents.
40 cents?
Yeah.
Well, all right. Give me the 40 cents, and you owe me 10 cents.
Right.
All right?
Wait a minute.
What's the matter?
How come I owe you 10 cents?
What'd I ask you for?
50 cents.
And what'd you give me?
40 cents.
So you owe me 10 cents.
How could I owe you 10 cents?
Now, wait a minute. Now, listen.
I gave you all that money I had in my pocket. I gave you 40 cents.
Argue with me again?
Now I got to owe you 10 cents besides?
I asked you for 50 cents.
Well, all I had was 40 cents. And
So you owe me 10 cents.
How can I owe you 10 cents?
Take it easy. Take it easy. 40 cents and 10 cents is how much?
That's, everybody knows
It's 50 cents.
Oh, no. 25 and 25 is 50 cents. Give me
All
that.
right, here's your 40 cents. Give me back the dime you owe me.
Okay, now we're even.
We're even. It's my own fault for asking you for a loan of 50 cents.
You tricked me too much into this.
I shouldn't ask you for 50 cents.
How can I loan you 50 cents? Well, all I got left now is 30 cents.
Well, loan me the 30 cents and you owe me 20.
Okay.
Now, there's no arguments. Now, everything's all right. You owe me 20 cents. Now, make it, it's clear to you, am I right?
How can I owe you 20 cents? First I owe you 10 cents, now I owe you 20 cents. I give you all the money I've got in the world.
All right.
I can't owe you that kind of money.
Wait a minute. Here's your 30 cents. Give me the 20 cents you owe me.
Okay.
There we go. Now, we're all set.
We're all set.
We're all set. Now, what are you hollering about?
I'm not, I don't understand this.
You don't understand
It's
what...
kind of transaction.
What do you mean? What's...
You started asking for 50 cents, and I give you 40 cents, I give you 30 cents.
My friend, it's the last time I'll ever ask you for the loan of 50 cents.
Ah, but you got me on me. How can I loan you 50 cents? All I got left now is 10 cents.
Is that all you got left?
That's all I got left.
Well, loan me the dime.
Now I ain't got nothing.
Now, wait a minute. Now, don't get excited.
I don't understand these transactions.
You're
with you.
ruining my calculation.
You're ruining my finances.
What did you have?
I have 40 cents when I started.
Just a minute. You want to take an IOU for the 40 cents?
Is it good?
Well, certainly it's good.
Well, that's business. I mean, after all, you go to a
Strictly
bank, you
business.
got to do that.
I do everything strictly business.
Well, that's all right. I'll take IOU.
You got a pencil?
Yeah, pencil.
Give me a pencil.
I'll put the IOU in my piggy bank.
That's right. Now, here. I owe you 40 cents. There you are. Now, sign your name.
Okay.
No. There you are. Now, you see, everything is legal. Here.
That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, that is fantastic.
I'm a huge fan of taking something so small and just beating the life out of it.
Yeah.
Like, I enjoy watching performers do that. Like, I mean, that should be nothing.
It should be not. And by the way, I think like you think about that, you could. I think most stand-ups inherently, if this was a bit, they'd stop after the first laugh, right?
Right.
But to your point, when you mine for gold and you keep digging and you keep going deeper, and with the math, I mean, 25 plus 25 is 50. It just like, I don't know, all those lines, but then seeing his frustration too, and that's why it worked so well. He was the dummy, right?
Right.
Always, and he looks so put upon in every sketch they've ever done. Yeah.
Confusion in real time. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you're
yeah.
watching like okay, now I got it. No, I don't. Oh, yeah, now I got it. You know, it's like
You couldn't have cast a better Patsy.
now.
You know, that's
No.
ultimately what he is. But and then the fast talking, you know, it's just
Yeah.
great. He's just peppering him. It's awesome. But obviously their biggest bit to date, and it's still relevant. Who's on first?
Who's on first? That's what I was thinking of the whole time I was watching it. Like,
Yeah.
It's
But then
the
you see
same.
this, and it's like, this is pretty damn good too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd never seen that one before. Where'd you dig that up? Yeah. But did you know that bit before? You had seen it, yeah. It's something like your grandparents would send you.
Oh.
You're like, this is fucking great.
dude, and what's the only thing that sucks is our grandparents watch that stuff, and that generation. Why
Yeah.
can't you be like that? You know, why can't he didn't
Right.
say any bad words? He didn't say anything. He just
And it made us both laugh.
And it made us both laugh.
Yeah.
But now putting it in context of time also makes it funny. I mean, if that was two people right now, would it still be?
I think so.
Do you?
That's something I was watching. I was sitting there watching that, going, "You could do that today. You could do that bit today on stage. You got two guys up on stage.
Yeah.
Make it $1, $2, whatever, 4 quarters, 10 dimes. I mean, then all of a sudden, you know, how many nickels, how many
Right.
pennies. Now you're thinking, oh, okay, you could mine that even further, you know.
Yeah.
But for sure, I think that could be.
But that is talent. I mean, those guys were genuinely funny with not a whole lot to go off of. You know what I mean? They didn't have, like, you know, you look at Farley and he had Belushi and he had,
Sure.
but you get back into that and they had vaudeville, right?
Vaudeville.
I mean, TV was just starting to come up and there was a lot of stage acting going right into television, you know?
Well, all these bits, like to your point, were done on radio.
Yeah.
They were done on radio, and as TV's slowly coming out, then there's scenery behind it, or whatever. But before that, it was, I mean, all the classic bits that you know from the radio days. Absolutely. I mean, it's fantastic. I love
that too.
I think Who's on First was one of the first jokes I might have ever heard. My father played it for me on an audio tape. He got like all the and Jack Benny. They would release the radio shows on audio tapes. So we would listen to them when we were driving in Jersey, and I heard Who's on First. I was like, this is, you know, you're 7 or 8 years old. Like, this is genius. This is hilarious. Yeah.
Jack Benny was one too that was like, he took that, like we were talking earlier, where he didn't have to be, he was so funny.
Oh, great.
But it was all degrading towards, you know what I mean? Like, he was kind of a weird front man.
Yeah, it was all about money for him.
Yeah.
And that it was like the history of radio. He had the longest laugh because a mugger, you know the joke, right?
Yeah.
The mugger comes up. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Freaking awesome.
It's great. But all right, that was cool, Taylor. I appreciate that. Thank you. Abbott and Costello, and they went on to do a bunch of buddy films together.
Yeah.
They were one of the first, obviously Laurel Hardy, Abbott Costello, then you had Bob Hope and Bing Crosby, and those were the road trip buddy films, but prior to was the two-man kind of. And there was a film John C. Reilly did recently with a British actor.
I saw it.
Yeah, it was really good.
It was really good.
What was it called? Do you remember?
It wasn't just their names. It was
something, but yeah.
Yeah, but it's good. It's so innocent.
Yeah.
And it was so behind the scenes and kind of them traveling around and the wives and getting sick and the whole.
The twilight of their career,
right,
together, yeah.
Yeah, and kind of going to. It was. I thought it was good.
I liked it. All right, here we go. This is number 2. All right, a sketch from the Chris Rock Show.
Dude, I loved the show so much.
Yeah, if you don't, you know, if there's no Chappelle Show without the Chris Rock Show,
right?
So we'll just know that. And then there's obviously a ton of shows but this was the first that kind of like really broke it open. I think in terms of going places.
Fearless.
HBO, yeah, you can say shit.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, okay. Here we go. Let's watch Chris Rock.
People in the black community, myself, often worry that we might be a victim of police brutality. So, as a public service, the Chris Rock Show proudly presents this educational video.
Great music out of the gates.
Have you ever been face to face with a police officer and wondered, is he about to kick my ass? Well, wonder no more. If you follow these easy tips, you'll be fine. First, obey the law. Laws were made for a reason. Think of them as hints. You've heard people say, man, I wouldn't do that shit if I was you. Well, here's some of that shit. Carjacking, armed robbery, arson, selling drugs, buying drugs, stabbing, shooting. You know, you probably won't get your ass kicked if you just use common sense. If you jump a subway turnstile, you might just get off with a warning from the police. But if you jump a turnstile carrying a loaded gun and smoking a joint, then you lose We all know what happened to Rodney King. But Rodney wouldn't have got his ass kicked if he had just followed this simple tip. When you see flashing police lights in your mirror, stop immediately. Everybody knows, if the police have to come and get you, they're bringing an ass kicking with them. Here's a no-brainer. If you're listening to loud rap music, turn that shit off. Blasting "fuck the police" while you're getting pulled over by the police is just ignorant. When an officer approaches your car, be polite.
Is there a problem, officer?
And stay in your car with your hands on the wheel.
What the fuck do you want?
Unless you want your ass kicked. Want to give a friend a ride? Not so fast. Your friend might be crazy. Now, before you let your friend in your car, ask them these questions. Do you have a gun? Do you have drugs? Do you have any warrants? And in case you do get pulled over by the cops,
License and registration, please.
remind your friend to do this one thing. Shut the fuck up.
Don't give him shit. What the fuck do you want?
If you have to give a friend a ride, get a white friend. A white friend can be the difference between a ticket and a bullet in the ass. Here's
Not
a
a
tip
ticket.
you should never forget. If your woman is mad at you, leave her at home. Because a mad woman will say anything.
He got weed! He got weed!
If your woman is mad at you, there's nothing she'd like to see more than you getting your ass kicked.
That's right! Kick his motherfucking ass!
Now let's review. Obey the law. Use common sense. Stop immediately. Turn that shit off. Be polite. Shut the fuck up. Get a white friend. And last but not least, don't ride with a mad woman. If you follow these simple pointers, you probably won't get your ass kicked by the police.
God, I mean, that
Jeez,
is
dude.
A to Z, no fat in there.
Uh-uh.
Absolutely hilarious. And Chris Rock, by the way, I'm watching this. It's like he still looks the same.
He does.
Hey, how long ago was this? 15, 20 years ago?
Dude, a long time. I remember watching
years
that
ago,
when
he
it
still
was
looks the
on.
same.
Yeah.
Unreal.
He looks the same, but he is one of those guys that, like, I remember early on, I didn't think he was funny.
Yeah.
Like on SNL, I was like, he just doesn't kind of,
Yeah.
whatever. But he found, and I think it's being, not mature is the right word, but he found his voice.
Yeah.
At some point, because I didn't know him or anything like that. But he found his voice, and his HBO specials made me laugh harder than I've ever laughed. Eddie Murphy, Chris Rock.
Yeah.
You know, like those specials were like, I was like, oh, this is it, man. Like, and it doesn't matter if they have the same voice as you or not. I respect and watching him do that as a straight guy.
Yeah.
You know, he was kind of the straight guy in that.
Sure, yeah.
He didn't force himself into all of
No,
this stuff and everything. And just brilliant, dude. I mean, that's...
Yeah, it's funny because when you say you found his voice, I agree with you. And there's been a lot of, like, docs that have come out, like, you know, I think before Bring the Pain, the first special that really, like, launched him in terms of recalibrating who he was, because everybody remembered him from SNL, right? And I think he didn't find his voice. I think he found, like, an arsenal of weapons. Like, imagine John Wick, you know, going into that cachet of weapons where you pull out the suits and all this stuff. It just, like, he has... To me, it's never like jokes almost. He's like a blunt force instrument. He's just so effective at everything he communicates, and I really enjoy him. And this is something where I'm watching this going, man, I would love to have been in the writer's room on this one.
Yeah.
I mean, all the things that they left on the floor, too, they were probably way too offensive.
Right.
But, man, and by the way, this thing, it's like 20 years ago, it's still relevant today. You could do that sketch today, right now, and it would be just as obviously as you just did.
Yeah.
I love him. There's Chris Rock's probably my top tier of, like, greatest, if not, for me, my personal favorite.
Oh, me too, dude.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you. And I know we're talking about sketch, but he has a cadence in his stand-up that is impeccable. His timing is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And and he repeats things kind of, and then bam, you know, like the...
Yeah.
But this show, I know we're talking about sketch. This show is one of the best.
Oh, yeah,
ever,
dude. You know, when I started working at the Cellar, Chris Rock was always there, and I appreciated him as a younger... As I've gotten older and as I've gotten more into, the craft of it, and you're paying more attention, and you're, I think, trying to do a better job at, like, writing.
Yeah.
As opposed to when you're younger, it's just kind of like a party.
Right.
It's only in these later years I'm like, man, I really, really, really respect him.
Yeah, I do
and
too.
The last time I was at the Cellar, him and Kevin Hart were there, and I sat down, and Kevin and I were catching up, and I was just like, man, I really want to ask Chris for a picture, but I don't want to. And he knows me, we see, but I'm just like, I've never done it, and I just want to. In the past it was because I'll see him again. He's at the Cellar, but it's like I really want to, just be next to greatness.
It's so
in this
weird
picture.
in this job because you sit beside somebody. We're fans of people
Oh,
too.
no. Yeah.
And it's like you sit there going like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm sitting here.
Yeah.
And it kind of blows you away, and it probably like how you feel sitting with me.
Sorry.
No, you know what I'm talking about. Like you sit there and you go like, I'm just being an idiot.
Yeah.
But like you sit there and go like, I can't believe I'm sitting beside this person.
Yeah.
Will Ferrell, I got to hang out, and it's like I didn't want to be a douche and be like, hey, come here, let's
Sure,
do this, But it is weird how we're in this position. It's a weird feeling to be like, well, I need to act like I know what's going on, and inside internally, I'm like, oh my god, I'm hanging out.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, there's some people are just so comfortable with it too. Like, come on, let's get a selfie, and they pull it out, and people do it. And then I think I'm always like, I'm like, I feel icky doing that. I just feel gross, but it's just built up too much in my head.
Yeah, I
Next
have
time
in my
should
head.
just do it.
As soon as I feel like in my head, I'll walk away and they'll go, God, why did he come around? And then I'm walking around with all this stuff in my head, going, I should ask Chris Rock if I could,
And then you don't want to also be like a fan where you're like, just so you know, like I really appreciate everything you've done. And it's just like
You're
fuck.
a huge influence in me, dude. I was at in Montreal at the Just for Laughs things doing a gala, and I was younger and I was standing on the side with my manager, and George Lopez was hosting it. But while he's up there, I'm looking at Damon Wayans, who was on it, who was going up right after me, right? And I'm sitting there thinking of how much he made me laugh, how important he was to me as far as, and Living Color was, if not the greatest sketch show of all time. But I'm sitting there building in my head, like, I'm like, oh my God, that's freaking, I'm doing a show with Louis C.K.'s there, and I'm on the same gala, you know? So I go up and I did great, man. It was a blast. And I'm all jacked up and I'm walking off stage and Damon's waiting to come and he goes, man, you killed it. And he went to high five me and I bear hugged him and I picked him up. I was like 260 and I'm shaking him. I'm like, dude, I love you. When I was in college, I used to get hammered and watch you and laugh and I just do another thing. And I'm shaking him. And George is up there going like, please welcome Damon Wayans. And I'm like, oh, like he's my teddy bear and he's tall, but he's lanky. And I'm shaking him and he's like, oh man, hold up. And he goes out there and I walk up, my manager goes, what is wrong with you? I'm like, dude, I don't know. Like, I was so high from the set that when I saw him, I freaked out and I shamed.
I'm sure he's thinking it's hilarious, though.
Dude,
too, right?
he got done. He came over and I was like, hey, man, my manager said I look like such an idiot. And he goes, dude, I'll take all the love I can get, man. He goes, you made me feel so good before I went out there. And I'm like, oh,
that's awesome.
But that's how I react.
Yeah.
So like that, I know not to do that because I might have Chris Rock in a headlock. And I'm like, I love you so much. You know what I mean?
I remember I was at the Comedy Store and I got to bring up Martin Lawrence. He did a pop in. You get the napkin. You're like, Martin, oh, holy shit, I get to bring up Martin Lawrence. So I'm up there. I'm like, my God, I can't believe I have the honor of bringing this guy up here. And I've always missed him at the store. And but he's here tonight. And I go on this thing, like I used to watch his special. It came out on VHS, and I worked in a video store, and I watched it over and over and over again. And he's such a huge inspiration to me, and he's here tonight, and I just fawning over him, right? I bring him up, and Martin Lawrence gives me a hug. He's like, man, that was really sweet. Thank you so much. And I'm like, I mean it. He's like, well, thank you. And he takes the mic, and then, then you just hear, so pussy. It's just like, this heartfelt moment. Then he's just gonna do what he does. And that's exactly why I love him. You're like, wow, there he is. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's so goddamn funny, but so cool to not only see and observe, but as comics, it's like, oh, you get to like. I saw this video of the Killers performed this past weekend at MSG with Bruce Springsteen. And they got to sing Born to Run with him. And you could see, like, on the lead singer's face how elated and he's still, like, holding his heart after it happens. He's like, oh, my God. Yeah. And it's like, those are the moments we get to share every now and then, too, sometimes. So it's
it's
cool.
fun, man.
All right, Whitest Kids You Know. Whitest Kids You Know. They had a show on What was it? On IFC for a minute. It was like 2 seasons, 3 seasons, something like that. But I remember 6. I remember they were in LA for a while, and I had heard about them. And then one of them I got to know because he filmed something that I was a part of. It was super nice, and I was like, "Oh my God, you're one of the guys." He's like, "Yeah." And then, well, I'll share it for afterwards.
Dude, you know what I almost
remember
said?
what's that?
When you read that, I almost went, John Christ. I thought it was a question. I thought you were asking me, who's the whitest kid you know?
Who is the whitest kid you know? Would you say John Christ?
No, I know way whiter.
Who's the whitest kid you know?
That's a comedian.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I traveled with Larry the Cable Guy for 12 years.
Pretty white.
That's pretty white.
It's pretty white, yeah.
He doesn't even tan. Whitest, that's not really white. Chance. He's pretty white.
Chance is pretty white. Yeah, Chance Willie's pretty white. God. That's a Trevor Noah?
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. Let's watch The Whitest Kid You Know.
Hi, I'm Clint Webb.
We don't have anything
I'm
on the
running
screen here,
for
Tim.
Senate.
Sorry. Oh.
I do like the name.
Yeah.
Whitest kid you know. I mean, you got to lean into it.
Why not? Fuck it,
You
right?
know what I mean?
Hi, I'm Clint Webb, and I'm running for Senate. I have a short cropped haircut, a pretty enough yet accessible looking wife, and a newborn baby that I've dressed in a suit to prove to you that I mean business. For the last 15 years, I've lived my life in such a bland, uncontroversial, and repressed manner that it's almost unnatural. Why? Because I've been preparing to be your representative since I was a child. Most well-adjusted, sane men would be hesitant to take a job where their decisions would so drastically affect the lives of so many. But not me. I possess a sort of sociopathic narcissism that makes me think that I should be in charge of everyone. But all of that needs to start here at home, in this beautiful state that I've grown to love since I moved here 18 months ago. Together, we can piggyback some of our state's legitimate needs onto my unquenchable lust for self-glorification. And that's a promise. Here's an unflattering picture of my opponent. Here's a quote of his taken out of context. Oh, and one more thing. I have a dog. I enlisted in the military for the minimum amount of time in a position that would never see combat. Why? Well, because it would help me be your senator. I don't make friends. I make acquaintances. All of my motives are ulterior. I'm self-involved to the point of psychosis. My soul is terrifying. And that's leadership. So this November, let's send Washington a message. And what is that message? Hey, me.
That's great.
I thought that was really funny.
It's fascinating because you watch something like this, and that's something some kid would do on YouTube right now.
Yeah.
Whereas 10 years ago, I'm sure there was production value behind this in a writer's room and all that stuff. So yeah.
Dude, I love these birds aren't real guys. Like, my son has turned me on. Have you ever seen it?
No. What is it?
So it's called, my son turned me on to it. You know what I'm talking about? So this kid does, it's stuff similar to this.
Yeah.
But it's about how birds are not real. And they're actually, the government has taken the birds, and now they're these mechanical drones that are recording everything we're doing. And he has rallies and stuff.
Right.
And people come, and dude, it makes me laugh harder than about anything I've seen that's out there now. I mean, like the kid, everything is about bird deniers, and he's taken what's going on with the world
and
applying it to, but he plays it off like he'll get interviewed by somebody like Vice or something, and he gives a real interview, and then immediately goes to social media and is like, it's a hack job, they made all this up, they lied. He did it. It was on like 60 Minutes or something. I mean, it was some big show. Yeah. And he goes in and he talks to him, and they're like, yeah, you know, obviously this is, you know, you're joking around, da da da. And he's like, they're lying. They've edited this. And then somebody got a hold of him because he went after somebody and said they were lying, like the New York Times. Yeah. And they sent him a letter saying that what he did was illegal and they were going to sue him or whatever. And then he planted that everywhere. See what they're doing? They're coming after me because they know the birds aren't real.
They don't realize that he's It's almost like a meta bit. It's becoming satire within satire.
It's satire within satire,
Yeah.
and it is freaking brilliant. My kid, he's 19,
Yeah.
and it's almost odd that we have the same sense of humor,
Right.
that we laugh at the same. But he got me turned on to it, dude. He does these videos. He's like laying in bed, he's dying, and he's asking for it. I don't even know how to give it justice.
Okay,
to explain
I'll watch it, yeah.
But if you, it's just birds aren't real.
Okay.
And he gives speeches. He did a thing in L.A. and they got a hold of the rally was going to be so big that they made him move it from the so he didn't so he moved everybody to CNN and he did it out in front of CNN.
Really?
Yeah, and the kid has balls of steel and he's unfazed. He does not break with what's going on with but it's very similar to that. I didn't mean to just give a plug to Birds Aren't Real, but it is so freaking funny. I want to talk to this kid because he reminds me of like when we were kids. Like he has that. Like, you know, you just go to the mall and you screw with people and act like you're whatever.
Reckless abandon.
Reckless, just no fear of anything. And he does not let up.
Yeah.
It's freaking, but it just, that reminded me, he's doing it in real time as if it's actually happening, but it's similar to that vein of.
Yeah, I'd like to see it because, again, Birds Aren't Real, that's proof positive of, like, you would have to explain that to somebody like you just did to me. You would have to explain it to like IFC or Comedy Central or whoever like 10 years ago and be like, this is why it's great and all this stuff. And the executives would powwow, nah, I don't know about that. And now all of a sudden he's just doing it on his own. And crushing it.
And killing it. And dude, he has these lawyers that speak on his behalf that are, you know, dude, he see him dying laughing. I can't, am I doing a terrible job explaining it? It's hard to put into words. Like there wouldn't be a pitch. I mean, you'd have to be like, just watch this and just see how, and he's taking it to a level of extremism that is just so freaking hilarious. And he's like 20 years old or something. He's a young kid and he's just taken off with it. It kills me, man.
It's fascinating, like, to know that we're in a room, three guys, both of you have heard of this guy. I've never heard of it. I'm not, obviously I'm going to check it out afterwards, but that's where we're at now, right?
Yeah.
You have these subsects or like niches of conduits of humor that people just wholeheartedly are invested in.
Yeah.
And in somebody like me, I've never heard of this person.
Dude, where's the camera? If the Birds Aren't Real guy sees this, we would love to have you on here.
Well, we'll check it out. Yeah, for sure.
I'm a believer, dude. I just said all that. That's all fake. I'm a believer.
How long has he been doing it?
2 or 3 years. But do people show up and like they get real fired up and they dress and they I mean, I want to go to one of these rallies. I told my kid, I go, dude, you find one, I'll fly us there, and we're freaking going.
Because it's a fake rally, obviously, and that's why.
Well, is it?
All right, here we go. Here we go. Let's. Okay. Gilly and Keeves. I've seen some sketches that this is Shane Gillis. So I've seen the car dealership one, which I thought was really funny, but. Shane Gillis obviously got on SNL, got the boot, I felt unjustly, and now he's doing his own sketches just on YouTube, right? Nobody's funding this. He's just filming it with his partner on his own, and yeah, this is an example. Let's check this out.
Hi, my name's Holly, and I run Happy Hands Daycare. The coronavirus shut down our daycare center. People just didn't feel safe sending their kids. We were about to close our doors, but then we had an idea. We realized that there's probably so many people stuck inside with family members that they just can't stand. So we decided to reopen as a daycare center for uncles.
Hey!
Uncle Hank, good to have you today.
I got a hemorrhoid like a monkey knuckle.
All right. When most people have an uncle, they never think they'll spend all day with them.
Hey, you guys think fire's beautiful, right? Good morning, Miss Holly. My mom told me to say thank you for all the prayers for our iguana.
Once COVID hit, that nightmare became a reality. Uncle Shane!
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, come on in.
Wow.
Wow, nice shirt.
What sound does a wolf make?
Wolves.
So we offer a solution. We give uncles a place to go during the day. Each day starts with a morning meeting.
Wait, what?
We give all the uncles a scratch-off ticket with their schedules.
Yoga? God damn it. Fuck.
Then the uncles participate in a variety of activities that suit their skill set. Okay, Uncle Tommy,
Yeah.
How old are these girls? Are any of them underage?
Well,
You can do this.
I know.
Okay. Go ahead.
They're all beautiful angels.
Right, but are any of them underage?
I don't know. So, I have to assume they're all underage. All of them.
Great
Yeah.
job, Tommy.
Yes.
I'm so proud of you.
Yes, I'm proud of myself.
Remember, guys, as developed as they may seem,
It doesn't mean they're 18.
Here's my computer. Where'd you guys get this laptop?
this is conspiracy class.
Yeah, so basically the Hunter Biden video from his laptop is fake, but it's actually him, but they gave him a fake giant boner.
Italy's black.
He's saying Italians.
Oh, Italian.
I actually have evidence that Jimmy Hoffa was one of the pilots on one of the planes. My cousin told me.
What?
Yeah.
We read the uncles some books to help debunk some of their conspiracy theories. But I don't trust the vaccines, cried the rabbit. Oh, but you should, Rabbit. They're safe, exclaimed Farmer Jim. If you don't take the vaccine, you won't be able to play with your rabbit friends anymore.
Yeah, all right, but what happens when the vaccine turns them gay, like what happened with me?
Well, remember, Uncle Tim? That's a conspiracy.
Yeah, the vaccines don't make the rabbits gay. It makes them artistic, like painting and shit.
And then Uncle
Farmer's giving the rabbit the vaccine so he can control his mind.
Here at our daycare, we have lady uncles, too. With our lady uncles, we give them a pack of cigarettes, a robe, and a window they can look out of to keep an eye on things.
See these kids out here? Look at these kids.
They're just riding their bikes.
Yeah, from what country?
At Uncle Daycare, we provide snacks.
Hey, Hank. Feeling famished?
The uncles get a beer at 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 11 a.m., 1 p.m., and 3 p.m. Uncle Tommy gets a beer every half hour. We make sure the uncles get plenty of exercise every day.
Gushers here? Yeah. What kind of bullshit is
They
that?
gave me a breathalyzer, and now I can't ride my Harrow anymore, so.
Uncle Tim, that's great.
We do exercises like taking out an air conditioner and moving it from the house to the car.
Put in that hatchback! Put in that hatchback!
You did that.
We have other exercises like doing the groceries when someone else buys.
Show you pussies how it's done.
Let's go. Let's go.
We try to return the uncles back to you a little bit better than when you left them.
Hey! Hey! This asshole just whistled at my daughter. She's 17!
Sir, listen.
As developed as she may seem.
I'm gonna kill this motherfucker!
Uncles.
The what?
Yeah, they're uncles.
It's good.
Yeah,
They're all...
they're uncles.
They're wrong. I'm sorry, I didn't...
It's okay, you didn't know.
I didn't know, buddy. I didn't know.
That's okay.
You okay? Did you fall down the stairs?
I got hit by an ice cream truck.
Hey, Uncle Mike. What you making? Uncle Mike, don't you think something like this would hurt Miss Holly's feelings? A statement like this might make her feel unseen and unloved.
She knows I see her. I stare at her all day. She knows that.
Yeah, she does know that, but that's not really what I'm saying. I think you can do better than this. Come on. Yeah. Good. What do you have, Uncle Tommy?
It's a beer.
Oh, your favorite. That's awesome.
Yeah, now go get me one.
I'm gonna give it to her.
I don't think you should.
Oh, nice. Thanks. At the end of the day, the families come to pick them up. We walk the uncles out to the car and call it a day.
Have a good one, guys.
You know, people always ask me, what's harder, uncles or kids?
Jane, get out of there.
It's uncles.
Come on, Tommy.
Come on.
Come on, Tommy.
Kids don't try to kiss you all day.
No.
They have better language.
Dude, I'll suck your fucking dick right now.
No, just shut up. All people have feelings.
Not Italians.
All feelings matter.
Nope.
Sometimes they make you feel a little uncomfortable.
I can't feel shit. Fucking pricks.
Kids don't do that shit.
Wait. I gotta pee. Yeah, well, just give me a second. You were in the bathroom for a goddamn hour. Fuck you! I gotta piss.
We just hope tomorrow will be better. Uncle Tommy?
God damn.
Great. I mean, fucking fantastic.
That's
awesome.
funnier than anything I've seen on Saturday Night Live in years.
Oof. Yeah, I mean, they're restrained, obviously, by being on NBC, right?
Yeah, no.
That's
And
just
the cussing and the whatever.
so goddamn funny.
That was hysterical.
Yeah.
That's hysterical.
There's just not a lot of fat. There's like no fat on that. It's just awesome. And I'm just sitting there going, they just put this up for free.
Yeah.
Like, there's production value in it. There's great writing. Nobody oversold it. You know, usually when you call your friends in or whatever. So I'm thinking, well, they cast it. It's like, it's fucking really, really, it's done incredibly well.
Yeah.
Incredibly well. It's shot really well. The edit is awesome in it. I'm just looking at things from like a production standpoint. Like,
right.
Wow, they really, like, you didn't phone this in. Like, it's a real, this is something that you would think would normally be on TV, but I'm just kind of blown away. I've seen other sketches, but as I'm sitting here, like, being forced to dissect it on this show, like, wow, it's fucking amazing. Like,
I've never
seen
a sketch from the show before.
Yeah.
But I'm with you on the cuts right after a facial expression. They nail the
it's all reaction shots.
Yeah, it's freaking great.
And when to say certain lines, and just each one of them as a character. You could the minute they walk in, you know, the Oakleys, the Italian, the guy that's hurt, like even Gillis. It's like they all stayed consistent throughout the whole thing, and like what is it, 6 minutes?
6 minutes.
6 minutes. And you come out of it going, oh, those are fully fleshed characters.
Yeah.
And I saw each of them on screen for maybe 40 seconds, each one of them. And they were so on point. It was fucking great.
Well, and it's the concept is kind of just laying there. You know what I mean? Like the uncles, like that seems like something you'd throw out.
Yeah.
But then watching it become a sketch, you can see dude, you talk about laughing, and they must have been crying laughing in this thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, how many views does this have? Yeah. And how short of a time? 2 years ago. It's fucking great.
How many views? 1 million?
And they did it on their own.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah. I'm not blown away. I'm just like, wow, that's, you know, you're taking all things considered and knowing they just did that on their own. It's fucking great. And they put it out there for free. I'm sure they're monetizing and everything and making money on it stuff. But just to know that they I don't know, I just really appreciate they're not skimping, and they're putting true production value into their product. So I don't know, I hate to get like production-y about it, but man, fucking great. And I would love to be in that writer's room.
Yeah, me too.
God damn, that's fucking great. That is as good as what you just saw with the Chris Rock sketch.
Yeah.
And Chris Rock was on HBO. There's writers that are being paid six figures to be a part of that show.
Yeah.
Production value, et cetera, et cetera. And you see in 20 years how far the industry's gone. Where something on HBO, which was a prestige platform at the time, still is.
Oh, huge, man.
To a bunch of guys getting together on YouTube, scrapping that together, and slick, great, cast well.
Yeah.
Fucking great.
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic too, and I could see where Saturday Night Live was attracted to getting him.
Oh yeah,
yeah. You know, but dude, that's funnier than that. I thought that was really good.
That might have been one of the funniest sketches I've seen in a long time. Yeah,
yeah.
Apart from the car dealership one that he had posted that I'd seen recently as well. So I'm gonna go down a rabbit hole on Birds Are Not Real.
Birds Aren't Real.
Birds Aren't Real. I'm gonna go check that out.
I did a terrible job explaining it.
I'm gonna watch it. Yeah,
but it's freaking funny, man. That kid is so creative, and he goes all out.
Yeah,
and it's so. I don't even know how to explain it. It reminds me of what my friends and I used to dream about doing.
Yeah.
Or someone would bring it up, but not following through. And he's taken this on and taken it out into a world of...
It's Andy Kaufman-esque is what it
Yeah,
sounds
yeah,
like.
yeah.
So I'll check it out. But thank you, Taylor, for cobbling this one together. This was so outside the norm. But again, why I love doing Comedy Pinata.
Yeah.
Because we're getting to go down rabbit holes like this and explore things that we haven't seen before. So I really appreciate this episode. A lot of sketch. We'll have to do another one of these down the pike. Yeah, let us know what you guys think in the comment section. Again, rate, review, subscribe. Thank you guys for tuning in as always. Reno, any parting words?
No, dude, this was fun, man.
Yeah.
I like mixing it up a little bit.
This is fun, yeah.
You know?
And obviously, everybody can check out your tour schedule where?
Yeah, RenoCallYourComedy.com.
There we go.
And yeah, man. Dude, I love doing this. Dude, this is fun.
So fun. SteveBurnLive.com. I'm hitting the road. I am starting from scratch, so a lot of crowd work over the next few months. But come see me on the road. And Amazon Prime will have that. I'll find out the release date very soon for the new special. But maybe at some point we could hit the road together too. It'd be
Dude,
a
I would
total blast.
love
It'd
it.
be so
man.
fun.
Hell yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you guys again for tuning in to another episode of Comedy Pinata. Thanks to Taylor and SueTheCollector.com for sponsoring us. All right, we'll see you guys next week.